In early September, we once again fast-packed the Tour du Mont Blanc, joined by a group of runners from all over the world. The 170-kilometer loop circles the Mont Blanc Massif through France, Italy, and Switzerland. And like with all of the group trips that we organize, we stayed in mountain refuges along the way and ate some incredible food. This was my third time running the route, in addition to having raced UTMB, and there's a reason that we keep coming back. And I think you'll see why, as I show you highlights from another incredible journey on the Tour du Mont Blanc in this episode of Time on Feed. We got an early start from our hotel in Chamonix. First, taking the bus to Les Houches, a little further up the valley. We've arrived in Les Houches, the official start of the Tour du Mont Blanc, and it's where we're going to start as well. We just took the bus here from Chamonix.
I love it.
What was the plan?
I'm all for it.
Take a picture first.
Okay, here we go. After an obligatory group photo under the sign, we were on our way. Yeah, we timed this one perfectly. Yesterday was pouring rain, and it's supposed to clear up now throughout the week. So.
So we're about halfway through our day here, making our way to Col de Tricot. Normally, there's a nice view from up here, but it's also pretty nice up in the clouds. Could be worse.
I mean, the temperature's great, at least.
Yeah, it's not cold.
Not too hot. There's the group down there, seeking shelter for lunch.
Look at this. Falafel wrap.
Yeah.
So delicious. So I'm gonna be in the front, but do you want to go in the... Oh, okay.
Woo, bit of wind.
Yeah.
Clouds are just starting to part as we descend from Col de Tricot here down these long switchbacks. You can see the refuge where we're gonna stop for a snack down below. So it's clearing up here. You can see, looking back up towards Col de Tricot, where we came down those huge switchbacks. Super fun descent. It's about 500 meters, pretty well graded, as you would have seen there, and a little technical, just technical enough to keep you on your toes.
Trip here to the top of Montreux. Because why not?
From there, all that was left was another big descent down to Les Contamines, where we'd be spending our first night. So we made it to our campsite. This is actually where we were during UTMB. There was like a viewing party here. We had dinner right before we headed up to Notre-Dame de la Gorge. So,
this is pretty cute. Come see. So we have this little room here with 2 beds. And over here, looks like we have a shared shower for our little house. And that's about it. I think everybody's going to shower, unpack, get comfy for the evening. We're going to meet at 7 p.m. for a briefing about what's to come tomorrow with our guides. And then dinner's at 7:15 in the communal area. And then we'll have an early night.
Okay, well, it's day 2. It's just after 8 o'clock. We're going to get started here by about 8:20. We had breakfast at 7 and just leaving our bags over here, our bag transfers that we have, which is really luxurious. Getting some trail snacks, making sure everybody has water, and we're going to set out here to climb up through Notre Dame de la Gorge. Today should be similar to yesterday. Yesterday was about 22 kilometers. I think I clocked about 24 with some extra out and backs. We're expecting much nicer weather today. I can already see some blue sky poking through the clouds here. How are you guys feeling today?
Feeling good. Ready for another great day.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Slept well?
Well enough.
Not too stiff?
Not too stiff.
Good. Let's do it. What do you think?
Every view has something special in it for sure.
Yeah, and it really does only get better from here.
How
Our
did it
first
go?
time we stayed up on that ridge there at a refuge, Audrey and I.
Okay.
Yeah, on our first night, and then we just had to traverse here in the morning.
So if you go up there, that's the Col de la Fenêtre. That's a very famous route to do ski touring. So it's very famous hiking. If you go on the other side of that mountain.
We're gonna stop for a little snack here, maybe an espresso, as one does. Definitely the busiest I've seen this route. Our guide Willow was just saying that in July, they reportedly had as many people on the route in 1 month as the entire season last year. As I said, we've seen this route get a lot busier over the years. But I try to remind myself that you're not in traffic, you are traffic. And I can't help but think that we may have contributed, at least in some small part, to its growth in popularity. After all, we would meet quite a few hikers and runners throughout the week who said they'd been inspired by our original film about the Tour du Mont Blanc. Nice work! So that was up and over Col de Bonhomme. Nice big climb to start our day. And now we are traversing along this little technical bit, which is a really fun section on our way over to Croix du Bonhomme and to La Refuge de la Croix du Bonhomme. We're gonna stop for lunch.
Nailed it.
Nailed it? Oh, you guys will let me know in the comments if I didn't, I'm sure.
So we're having lunch.
That's it.
Yeah, we can drive there.
Usually from here, you know, you got this long descent to Les Chapieux and then onwards to Ville des Glaciers to continue. But we're gonna take a variant today to get to the Beaufortin, where our home for the night is. So we're gonna be running up that ridge that we've been looking at every single year we've been here, wanting to run it. So this today is finally happening. So right after lunch, we're gonna be following that ridge there, all the way to the top, and then drop down the other side to our hut for the night. Pretty stoked. So yeah.
Just missing some sauce, bro.
After lunch, we hit the ridge, which it turned out would be one of the most idyllic I think that I've ever run.
Col de la Sauce. It's pretty funny. Saucy Pass.
And that is the ridge that we just ran on. That was incredible. You can see it starting all the way over there. We took the high route above those tops there, down to here. Okay, here we go. Final descent down to our refuge. The Beaufortin region is known for its rich alpine pastures and for its namesake, Beaufort cheese, made from the milk of the cows that graze high in these meadows. It's also where ultra runner Jim Walmsley is based, so there's a good chance that we were running on some of the same trails that he trains on. Nice work, nice work.
Nice work, guys.
Sean. So they serve artisanal ice cream here.
Oh.
Glace artisanale. And les parfums, so the flavors, vanilla, fleur de lait, which is milk flour. And then the third flavor is foin, which is grass. So I don't know if this is a joke or...
Well, today was a spectacular day. That ridge was amazing. Definitely the highlight with the Mont Blanc Massif in behind. We've arrived now at our refuge here. It's off the main route, off the Tour du Mont Blanc, but that also means it's much quieter. There are some day hikers here, I think, who are having dinner, but we booked 16 of the 18 available beds, so I suspect we're gonna have it pretty much to ourselves tonight. Our bags were waiting for us here as usual. We have bag transfers this week, so everybody gets to have a duffel bag full of, changes of clothes and recovery tools, nutrition for the next day. So pretty luxurious. We're having showers, we're eating amazing food. I'm about to have a beer here as well. And I pretty much got all my gear ready for tomorrow already. This is all from Path Projects, who kitted me out for this week. I'll link to all of that in the description below. And as I said, the nice thing about having a drop bag is I get to have a clean change of clothes for each day, along with some extra camera gear and batteries and things like that.
Yeah, it was.
After dinner, we called it a night to rest up for another big day.
start of day 3. We are getting a cab ride back to Ville des Glaciers, so to rejoin the TMB, and from there we'll start the big climb up and over Col de la Seigne and dropping down into Italy today.
Mach den Bein ab, noch viel schlau.
Down here is the refuge that we stayed at last time, Refuge de Motet. So I recognize that donkey and the horse. Yeah, so how you feeling today?
Oh, awake and alive. Much better than this morning. It was a bit mental games and toughness, but video and pictures never do justice for the views. And it's just, I cried a couple times yesterday and today. It's just amazing.
And there we go, that's the Italian border right there. Get your passports ready.
Oh man.
Welcome to Italy, guys. Isn't this incredible?
That's amazing.
Up here is the pyramid, which is a really difficult part of the UTMB course, but this is what they cut out this year because of bad weather. So you go up quite high. So normally you go up and then drop down to Elisabetta, whereas the Tour du Mont Blanc actually continues down on this road, which is what we're going to do, and that is what UTMB did this year as well. What do we think of that descent?
So flowy, so fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was awesome.
I think that's my favorite descent on the course.
I believe it.
Yeah. Stop here for lunch at Cabane du Combal. I've admired this every time I pass by. Never had a chance to check it out, so today's the day.
You know you're in Italy when the cappuccino is this good.
We're just taking a break for a little snack and some caffeine, and then we're gonna start our next climb, I guess our last climb, before having lunch a little bit further up. Okay. All right, here we go. Something like 400 meters of climbing left. We'll stop for lunch. And we're gonna run along this beautiful ridge here on our way to Courmayeur.
Never gets old.
just wanted to be here to see the beautiful terrain and see what UTMB, all the hype was about. And then actually hitting the trails the past couple of days has far exceeded my expectations for how beautiful and really idyllic it is out here.
UTMB is just this massive undertaking. You know, every single day is going to be a challenge, and at the end of the day, everybody's just working together as a team, and mountain views and vistas that I've never seen in my life. And I live in one of the most beautiful places in the Rocky Mountains in Canada.
What a day, huh?
The Alps are different, and they are incredible.
So nice here.
Yeah,
We're expecting some rain.
that's right.
Take it.
Nice one. You heard me coming.
Yeah.
Time for a late lunch.
Yeah, love it.
Nice job. Looks pretty good.
Tastes really good too.
Delicious.
Okay.
Need to warm up again.
Final descent to Courmayeur. We soon ran into a dog that I think we've seen on every one of our TMBs. Hi. Oh, hi. Hi. Yeah, you're a good dog, aren't you? It's a recurring character, that dog.
Yeah.
TMB to Courmayeur. Before dropping down the rest of the way to Courmayeur, where we'd be spending the night. Isn't this beautiful? There's the thunder showers. Whew. And since we had pasta for lunch, it only made sense to have pizza for dinner. All right, it's 8:15, day 4. We've got a big one today, probably somewhere around 32, 33 kilometers. Lots of climbing, including starting our day off with a big climb here. But it is going to be a beautiful one, some amazing views. This section, I think, is by far my favorite section of the entire route, running along the balcony here on the Italian side. Now we climb. See where we dropped down from up there, that ski resort. That's where we had lunch yesterday afternoon, down that steep trail into Courmayeur. Perfect weather today. It's a little bit cooler, which is nice because this climb, especially during UTMB, I think I was climbing up around noon, and it got pretty warm, pretty humid. Today is just perfect. Kind of fall weather as we head into mid-September here. How you feeling today? You got some rest finally last night.
Yeah, about 8 or 9 hours of sleep. Feel like a new man.
Nice. All right, we've made it to the refuge here. Going to take a couple minute break and regroup.
Espresso macchiato?
Yeah, I don't mind if I do. Thank you. So this is an aid station during UTMB. It's the first one after you leave Courmayeur. And it's also the last aid station during Tour des Géants, because we're on the final section of the Tour des Géants course as well. And then from here you drop down into Courmayeur to the finish. So I've done this section of trail many times.
It's a cool day, nice and breezy up here, but we're not expecting any rain, so everybody's pretty happy about that. We're going to stop next at Refugio Bonatti to pick up a picnic for lunch today.
What do you guys think so far?
Oh, this is
Amazing.
Yeah.
Most runnable section
Yeah,
yet.
that was beautiful. Up and down, nice and flowy,
Oh yeah.
especially after a very technical climb.
Yeah.
That was just like,
So this would have been a bunker back in the days, and now it's probably used as stable.
Yeah.
And to refill water for us.
Yeah, and during World War II, they might have been fighting here through the mountains to try and get into Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have built shelters all along the Alps.
So this is technically my fourth time doing this route. Did it once on our own. We fast packed the TMB in 2022, before then running UTMB a few weeks later. We then brought a group back the following year in 2023 with Vagabond Trails. Audrey actually came in 2024 and did it with her ladies only group. And this section, as I mentioned earlier, is actually overlapping with Tour des Géants. So this section I ran in 2018 as well. Yeah, so that's the intersection there where Tour des Géants comes in. We take a left and run all the way back down to Courmayeur. So we're just at the Bonatti hut having our picnics, our packed lunches that we pre-ordered. And this was named after Walter Bonatti, who was a famous mountaineer who put up a whole bunch of first ascents in the region. This isn't an aid station during UTMB, although we did get water over here during the race, I remember. But we always stop here for lunch. It's just a perfect spot. Full bellies.
Healthies and cold hands.
After dropping down into the valley, we started the climb up and over Grand Col Ferret to Switzerland. You know how I said that the descent down into Italy was my favorite on the route? Well, I lied.
Oh, that's the spot here. That's the spot, eh? Look at the leg. It's a puppy cuddle.
Well, it's day 5, and today is going to be a special one. The original plan was to follow the Tour du Mont Blanc, about 29 kilometers to Trient, with about 1,700 meters of climbing, just the standard route. But instead, we're going to take a variation, one that we've never done, Audrey and I, up and over Fenêtre d'Arpette. So it's going to add about 500 meters of climbing. It's going to be spectacular. We've always wanted to do this. It's going to be adventurous, taking us through some boulder fields and up what looks like a beautiful col in the photos I've seen. A little more physically demanding, of course, a little more technical, but we're quite confident that this group can handle it. You need perfect weather for this route, which is why we've never really had the chance to do it. But today we've got that weather. It's crisp and cool, but clear skies. Absolutely no weather in the forecast, no rain or thunder showers. Now, having said that, a few people from the group have elected to take a bus down the valley here to Chamonix, skipping about 10 kilometers of what's mostly pavement anyway, so that they can save their legs for that big climb. And the rest of us are going to head down the valley here, starting in about 10 minutes at 8:15. Are you excited for this or what?
It's going to be a great day. Looking for the boulders. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Still quite cold this morning. That's why I love these arm sleeves. They work to keep you warm when it's cold and to protect you from the sun. We're going to be up in the Alpine, quite exposed today, so these will work well. These are the Moab arm sleeves that I helped develop in partnership with Path Projects. Best arm sleeves in the market. Get a good view of Chamonix up there, which is where we're going next. We've got about a maybe 500 meter climb, and that's where we're meeting the rest of the group who took the shuttle down the valley. So this big parking lot here is a pretty major aid station during UTMB, and it's also an aid station during the Swiss Peaks 360K that I did back in 2019. This is where the courses merge. We came from the other side there. So the next sort of, 15, 20 kilometers or so, normally we'd be overlapping here with the Swiss Peaks course, but now that we're taking our deviation up to La Fenêtre d'Arpette, I'm actually not too sure how much we're going to see of it, but we are going to stop here in Chamonix for lunch, or at least for a snack and an espresso. It's pretty nice, eh?
Oh, this is so good.
So normally on the Tour du Mont Blanc and during UTMB, we'd continue up this road. We're going to continue this way instead to the Arpette Valley, Val d'Arpette. officially on our variant here. New ground for us, for Audrey and I, and for our guides actually. We got lots of beta before setting out here today. So far it's beautiful. Green, quite lush. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe over to the left. Who knows?
You go over in between there?
Anybody's guess.
Okay.
I think I can see it, but it's intimidating to me.
We're starting to see the fenêtre, although it's kind of hard to see exactly the route from down here. So I think we'll stop for a quick picnic before the final push.
Yeah, I expect it'll reveal itself as soon as we're around the corner here. Okay, you can see where we're going up there, La Fenêtre. There's switchbacks there. Doesn't look too bad. Still got a ways to go though. You can see the rest of the climb we have here on my watch. The guides have given us GPX tracks for each day, so we can load them on our watches. On my Coros Vertex 2S here, it then shows me, of course, the route for navigation, but also this cool elevation profile here, telling me how much climbing we've done and how much we have left. How's that tasting?
Delicious.
Hitting the spot.
It's incredible.
Lunch with a view too.
Yeah, it's been a great day so far.
Well, we just stopped for lunch here to eat our sandwiches we bought at the bakery back at Chamonix. We've got about 500 meters of climbing left to go. You can pretty much see the route from here all the way up. There actually are quite a few people up there that we can see, so might not have the view to ourselves, but we'll see.
Best lunch spot.
Yeah. La Fenêtre d'Arpette is actually part of the Haute Route, which starts in Chamonix and runs all the way to Zermatt. The pass tops out at 2,665 meters, making it a new high point for us on this trip around Mont Blanc. And once you reach the top, the views stretch for miles in every direction. Wow.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Good job.
Yeah, nice job, guys.
That was awesome.
You can see why you'd only want to tackle it in good weather. Okay, now we descend. Either the easy or the hard part, depending on who you are. The views didn't stop once we reached the summit. And on our descent, we'd have pretty much constant views of the Glacier du Trion. I climbed up past that dam over there in the Swiss Peaks 360K, and then sort of up and into the mountains. It was pretty incredible. All right, so we're we're just all filtering some water from this nice cold creek. We've got about an hour descent left until a refuge. We're going to take a little break and then about 45 minutes to an hour until our refuge for the night. So still a little ways to go today. We're just stopping here for a little snack. You can see where we came from, way up there. Woo! Nice field to run after all that hiking today, hey?
Amazing day.
Amazing day.
Amazing.
We'd have just one more day on the trail as we made our way from Trian back to Chamonix.
The plan today is to get back to Chamonix. First, we're gonna go up and over Col de Balme. We'll stop at the refuge there for a quick coffee and a snack. And then we'll do the really fun cruisy descent into Le Tour. And from there, it sounds like we're gonna follow either the Petit Balcon Nord or Petit Balcon Sud, most likely on the south side, to get back to Chamonix. So we had about 25k to go today.
It's quite cool this morning, but we're gonna warm up real quick on this climb. You see where we came down from yesterday, the La Fenêtre d'Arpette up there, through this valley here to Trian. And there it is. We're going up there to the refuge, right on the French border. So how are the legs? Day 6?
The legs are great. Want to keep going?
Good.
Unfortunately, it's the last day.
Yeah. So we had our snacks, we had our coffee, we took some group photos. But it's quite cool up here with the wind chill. It's super windy up in the col. So we're gonna head down now and run down through the Chamonix Valley to the end of our day. Our day wasn't over just yet, because after stopping for lunch in the valley, we climbed back up on the Petit Balcon Sud to get one last view of the Massif, before finally dropping back down to Chamonix. End of yet another tour.
That's right. Hopefully next time is when I'm racing UTMB again. 2026.
Almost done.
Final stretch.
Here we go.
Final stretch. Here we go.
Oh, what a beautiful sight.
Bon cours, hein? Great job, man.
Nice work.
Epic week. Thank you so much for doing this, guys. It was awesome.
Fantastic week. Fantastic. Above all expectations.
And so ended another unforgettable journey around Mont Blanc, a route that just never gets old, and with some new friendships having been forged. For me, it capped off another excellent week of training, covering roughly 100 miles, after nearly 200 kilometers in the previous couple of weeks that we'd spent in Chamonix, and you can watch highlights from that in the last episode of Time on Feet. After returning home to Canada, we had just over a week before we had to leave again for California, where I'd be running the Mammoth 200 Mile, my goal race for the season. But you'll have to wait to hear that story.